As you guys all know, we have finally hit the end of the NBA season, which means the MVP race is a little more clear. I was going to make a video a couple weeks back going over the MVP race, but now that we only really have a couple weeks left, I felt like right now was the right time. So, like I was saying, let's get into this MVP race and who I believe should take home the MVP this year. So, I understand Nikola Jokic is a beast, a offensive specimen. Man can do it all on the offensive floor except dunk over somebody. That's the only thing he can't do on the offensive floor is get a poster because man can barely jump on a curb. But he can still dime it better than anyone in the league. He's averaging a triple-double this season. Let me look at his stats so I know I'm not off. He's averaging 25. He's averaging 33, 10. That's Joel's stats. I apologize. I'm reading the wrong thing. He's averaging 25, 12, and 10, a triple-double. I rounded up the stats because he's actually averaging 25, 11, and 9.9. But, I was like, I'm just going to give him that extra 0.1 to make it a triple-double because who knows? He might end up averaging a triple-double at the end of the season. Right now, the Nuggets have one of the best records in the NBA. I believe they're the first seed in the Western Conference. And I know he deserves it. I know he's put up amazing numbers this season. Like I just mentioned, he's averaging a triple-double. Just recently, he put up in a historic night, put up historic numbers, dropping 25, 17, and 12. He joined Wilt and Oscar Robertson as the only player in NBA history to drop 10 points in 10 games of 25, 10, and 10 in a season. Just completely putting himself above a lot of players, putting himself in that elite category. Like I said, he's a league leader in triple-doubles. The Nuggets 51-24 as of today. And he's just a great leader. So he's not my choice for MVP. My choice for MVP is actually Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has missed 15 games this season, but let me give you my case on why. Because today I'm not going to be sitting here bashing guys and giving reasons why they shouldn't win MVP. Because guess what? All these dudes have a legitimate case to take home the MVP trophy. But I believe Giannis needs a little more shine. He's getting the LeBron treatment that LeBron got for so many years. We're like, oh, let's just not give the same guy the LeBron and Jordan treatment. Let's not give the same guy an MVP 3 years in a row because we need some parity in the league. Personally, I say give the same guy the MVP. But to me, MVPs are a whole nother story because I'm just going to go on a little rant real quick. The MVP is such a shit award, in my opinion. Excuse my language, but it's measured off the regular season, which in turn isn't really that important in the long run because the goal of every season is to take home that Larry O'Brien trophy. And if you're just an outstanding regular season player and you can't get your team out the first round, what are you? Who are you really in a MVP consideration? And I understand that's what the MVP is. It's a regular season award. But I wish they tied in the playoffs a little bit more because I'm just tired of seeing guys get the MVP and then get bounced out in the first round or bounced out in the second round. I want my MVP winning the championship. Like when Kobe won the championship in 2010, I know they didn't have an hourglass and they had no way of seeing if he was going to win the championship. But personally, I believe that he should have taken home that MVP that season. He was balling out and he just deserved it. But now let's move on to the guy I was talking about, a man that plays with Mamba mentality, Giannis Antetokounmpo. We get to his stats real quick. Giannis has the highest usage rate in NBA history. In the NBA, said in NBA history. I meant in the NBA. But due to injuries, he has missed 15 games. So that's why I do understand why people don't have him at the number 1 or number 2 spot. Most ranking websites have him at that number 3 spot behind Nikola Jokic. Just recently, Joel Embiid went a spot above Jokic, and personally, I believe it's Giannis, Jokic, and then Embiid. Embiid is such an outstanding talent. He's such a freak of nature on the offensive end, beast on the defensive end, but Jokic is a better passer. He's arguably the same level of offensive talent as Joel Embiid, except Joel Embiid is just, this man can do it all on the offensive floor. He can dunk on people. That's the one thing Jokic can't do. He can't dunk on people, and he can't play defense. But he can do so many amazing things. Giannis can do it all, man. When he wants to, when he's in his bag, man can give you 5 threes in a game. We saw what he did in his finals performance versus the Suns. And I'm not part of the party that agrees that, he won the championship because it was a bubble year last year, and it was the bubble year the year before, and the league was a little discombobulated. No, he deserved that championship. He took down the Suns. He was down in the series, and he came up on top. So Giannis is my favorite player in the NBA right now, and I do believe that he should take home this award. Jokic, I wouldn't be upset if he took it home because his stats are just so amazing. He's putting up historic numbers. It's just, the game is a two-way game. It's not a one-sided game. This game is won on the defensive end, mainly in my opinion. When you make smart defensive stops, when you stop three-point overloads, when you stop easy transitions to the bucket, that's when you win games, and that's what wins championships. If we look back,
have been teams with elite interior presence. The Los Angeles Lakers in the bubble, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and of course you can't forget Anthony Davis. If you look back at the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, 2 elite inside presences. So, with all that being said, and the Golden State Warriors, I know people are so focused on their offensive output and their off-ball screens and the way they move off the ball. But if we don't remember, Andre Iguodala in his prime with the Golden State Warriors was one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Draymond Green is a defensive player of the year, former defensive player of the year. Klay Thompson, before his injury, was one of the best two-way players in the game. And who won them the championship? I mean, who was one of the main reasons why they won the championship back last year? Gary Payton, because of his elite defense on the perimeter. So if you have elite defense on the perimeter, if you have elite defense on the interior, that really helps you win championships, because at the end of the day, defense wins championships. And I know with this new modern NBA, that's not really preached a lot, but that's something that I truly believe, that if you have an elite defense on the perimeter or even on the interior, both is better. But if you have either one, you're going to have a solid chance of winning the championship. And I'm saying all this to say, that is why I really do believe Nikola Jokic should not take home the MVP again. I understand. He's one of the most spectacular passers we've ever seen. Maybe in the modern era, because I can think about guys like Jason Tatum, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Jason Williams, Andre Miller, Chris Paul. All those guys in the 2000s were just such amazing passers that it's really hard for me to put Nikola Jokic in that category, but I understand. He's different. He's a unicorn. He's a 7-footer who runs the offense. He is the offense. He is the engine for the Denver Nuggets on scoring wise, facilitating wise. He's pretty much LeBron James in a center's body, minus all the athleticism, because man cannot jump over a curb to save his life. You're never going to see Nikola Jokic catch a body, but he's going to drop dimes. He's going to hit it from 3. He's going to post you up and fade away. He's going to do all of that. But it's just, the eye test is big for me. And I've never sat down and been like, damn, this Nikola Jokic performance is so amazing. But with Joel Embiid, with Giannis Antetokounmpo, those dudes are true freaks of nature. Why do you think they call that man Giannis the Greek Freak? It's not because of his Instagram messages. That's part of it. It's because this man is something we really have not seen in recent history. The last guy that was that dominant was that man right there, Shaquille O'Neal, number 34. The most dominant force in NBA history, in my opinion. I've never was close to seeing Wilt, and for some people, Wilt is a myth. So I get it. I mean, Wilt's 100-point game was a myth, not Wilt as a whole. So in my opinion, Shaq is the most dominant player in NBA history, and Giannis is just the most dominant force in this modern NBA. Joel Embiid is close though. Joel Embiid is so elite on both ends of the floor. He can take you off the dribble. He can post you up. He can fade away. He can block your shots. He can steal the ball from you. Man can just do it all on both ends of the floor, like I was saying. And that's why I believe him and Giannis have more of a solid chance of taking home the MVP. But now that I've gone over those three guys, let me go over the contenders, candidates, just extra players. What's the word I'm looking for? Runner-ups, honorable mentions. Jason Tatum, Sabonis, and Luka Doncic. First off, Jason Tatum. Man's averaging over 30 points per game this season. Has the Celtics at the number 2 spot. The Boston Celtics, I know, have gotten a lot of flack this season because they lost to the Rockets twice. They lost to the Pistons twice. But they still, in my opinion, have one of the best 1 through 10 rosters in the NBA. And in the playoffs, when the game slows down, they have the personnel to really thrive in that type of system. They went to the NBA Finals last year. They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times. They know what they're doing on both ends of the floor, and I actually have faith in the Boston Celtics. Now moving on to Domantas Sabonis, a guy who personally I didn't believe was gonna play this well for the Sacramento Kings. I was baffled. I was confuzzled. I was taken aback when they traded Tyrese Haliburton, who in my opinion is a generational talent, for Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is great, and he's really proving it this season. And I was dead wrong, because the dynamic duo of Sabonis and Fox is some beautiful basketball. The pick and roll, the two-man game, all of that, the pick and pop. But because De'Aaron Fox is the most clutch player in the NBA, he's leading the NBA in clutch points, clutch fourth quarter points. That's what's taking away from Domantas Sabonis' chances of taking home the MVP, because De'Aaron Fox is just along there with him and putting up amazing numbers at that. And now, last but not least, Luka the Doncic, Don Cheese, the Dominator, whatever you want to call him. Don Cheese with extra sides. That man is an elite basketball player. But after the acquisition of Kyrie Irving, the Mavericks have really fallen down defensively wise. On the defensive end, I don't know why it was a problem for me saying that. On the defensive end, they've struggled after the trade for Kyrie, and just in the standings, they've dipped down to 11. And I personally do believe that Kyrie Irving trade was a smart move, but not basketball-wise, just for the fact, these couple reasons right here. One, if you have Kyrie Irving in a jersey, you're going to put butts in seats. People want to see that man play basketball. He's one of the most outstanding basketball players I've ever seen with my two eyes, and the best ball handler in NBA history. Man is a maestro with the basketball. Also one of the best finishers. So if you have a guy like that and Luka Doncic on the same team, you're going to sell tickets. Also, this proves to Luka, hey, we're going to build a good team around you. Even if Kyrie leaves in free agency, we'll try to do a sign-and trade, and we have the cap space now to acquire somebody possibly. Because Luka's not going to do the same thing Dirk did. He's not going to wait around for 10 plus years, get bounced out in the playoffs in the first and second round, and then finally, when he's 30 plus years old, drag a bunch of other geriatrics to the NBA Finals, taking down LeBron, KD, Timmy D and the Spurs, a back-to-back Lakers squad with Kobe. Dirk did all of that. And it took him a long time, but that NBA Finals playoff run was so amazing, and I just don't think Luka is gonna wait that long. Man is gonna go to Miami. Man's gonna go to LA. Man's gonna go to a big market team. He's used to playing in big markets. He's used to being a big name. So I don't see him waiting out his career like Dirk did, and that's gonna hurt the Mavs. But I believe this does show, that move with Kyrie does show their lenience on building around Luka Doncic. But defensively, they're terrible. On the basketball court, they're terrible. I'll admit that. I was arguing with my friends about this. I personally didn't believe that the fit was amazing. These guys are both offensive juggernauts, but they have no defense. After losing Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie, their perimeter defense completely plummeted. And like I said, they're the 11th seed now. It's just not the same Dallas Mavericks squad. And it's not like they were that good with those other two guys before, but now they just have no defense at all. And they're playing JaVale McGee more in the interior because that's really their only interior presence. Christian Wood is not a good interior defender. So my final thing I gotta say is I hope that the Mavs figure out what they're doing with Luka Doncic and actually build something special around him, because man is a generational talent and he deserves it. So with all that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you guys want to argue with me, if you guys want to debate with me, hit me up in the comments section and we can get it going. Have a great day. Have a great week. Deuces.